I'm here with Ricardo Lucio Galvan, fresh off his comeback win. How you
Yes.
doing, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me again. Pleasure to be here.
No,
Like you said, coming off that fresh win.
no, of course. Thank you for letting me do this interview with you, man, and just giving me a little bit of your time because I know you're busy.
No, it's all good, man. Thank you.
No, for sure. But all right, man. Well, let's get into this. I want to start off by saying from the start of the fight, it looked like you wanted to set the pace and show there was no ring rust. Was that the game plan going into the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I fought this guy in 2014 as an amateur, but we're going into the pros now. So, working with my team, we came up with a strategic plan. We had plan A, plan B, and plan C. The first plan was to, establish the pace, pump the jab out there, and dictate my fight. We're going to go to Washington as neutral state, but I was going to do my fight.
No, for sure. Yeah, you say that it's totally different from amateurs and pros. There's no headgear, so you definitely feel that punch a little more wearing those small gloves. You guys were wearing 8-ounce gloves, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, man, for sure. And because obviously I was watching the fight, and yeah, you were pumping that jab, man. You were what's it called? It looked like you had a good distance. Did you have good distance in the fight?
Yeah, I had about 2 inches advantage, height and reach advantage. So, I was just going to box on the outside. If I had to box on the inside, I was going to do that. But my plan was to box him on the outside and one more than with that jab.
No, yeah, for sure. And going back, like from my spectating, me watching the fight, it looked like you had beautiful pace and you had good distance in that round. And I ultimately I scored that round for you.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah, no, it was that comeback round after 3 years of inactivity, and so I had to just go out there and do what I do best.
No, for sure, yeah, and even I remember I brought it up last time, and you told me it was going to be no problem, and I was like, oh man, it's 3 years, it's kind of hard, but no, you for sure went out there and you were fighting like you just got done fighting like 2 months ago, so.
Yeah, no, even the commentators were like, oh, we can anticipate some ring rust from Ricardo, but 2 rounds into the fight, and they were like, wow, no ring rust from Ricardo. He's setting the pace and he's pumping the jab out there.
Yeah, so that was good, man. But yeah, let's move on to talk about round two a little bit. In my opinion, I thought it was a little bit of a swing round. I feel like he kind of came out and was like, he didn't want to like just, I think he wanted to like try to fight your fight. And I think ultimately that was, kind of a bad decision.
Yeah,
Would you
no.
talk about that, about the second fight? Because would you say it was the second, the most competitive fight of the fight?
Yeah, no, the second round was a little more, filling each other out, combinations, a little more power. It was a good round. It put me back into the notion of being a pro, so it was good.
No, for sure. How was his power?
To be honest, I was sparring with guys heavier than me, so I really didn't feel too much of his power. There was 2-3 shots that he did catch me, didn't completely stumble me, but like I felt them.
No, for sure. Even before the knockdown, we'll talk about that later on. It looked even like you landed a left hook, and it looked like it ended every time you landed on him. It felt like he felt the punches, and he definitely would back up every time you would hit clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like remembering from our amateur days, I knew that he was going to be switching from orthodox to southpaw, back to orthodox, back to southpaw. And I was just trying to capitalize on those movements. So, yeah, whenever I could, I'd throw a solid punch so he could feel it and get him off balance.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, about him switching from orthodox to southpaw. Did that bother you at all? Did that give you any sort of trouble?
Absolutely not. Like I said, we were in the gym. We had a good amount of training, and that was the game plan. We knew he was going to be switching back and forth, so that did not make me uncomfortable at any moment. If anything, it played in my favor. But then again, boxing, you never know what can happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just feel, that everybody talks about like, oh my God, switching, like it gives you different looks, but it ultimately seems like it didn't work out for him. So
yeah, no, and then one of the things about boxing is like leading up to a fight, you want to fight people or you want to spar with people that are taller than you, shorter than you, southpaws, right-handers, quick ones, heavy hitters. That way, when you come to the fight, like you have a different style.
for sure. Well, that explains why we gave a couple rounds to you back in the day, right?
Yeah,
For
no,
your
absolutely.
fight three years ago, for
Thank you,
sure, man. Just good times. But yeah, let's switch over into that. In that third round, man, you talked to us about the knockdown. It seems like, you just hit him with the quick 1-2, and he definitely felt the power. And I don't think it was much of a flash knockdown, because I definitely do think he felt the power.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The commentators would say that it was just like a flash knockdown, but like you said, I was setting it up all night. When I looked and I connected that right hand, he was on the floor, so I got excited. So I went to the neutral corner, following the rules, But I did feel like he felt my power, because right after I tried to come back, but he clinched me.
Yeah, so that's a clear indication of that someone's hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the cool things about this fight was that once I got checked by the doctor and everything at the end of the fight, Roy Jones Jr. came back, and he said, I like to give tips and advice to upcoming prospects. And he told me, when you have a fighter hurt, always go to the body, and then the head will fall by itself. So I think that was really cool, and I admire that about Roy Jones Jr.
No, for sure. I mean, that's ultimately one of the greatest fighters ever. Honestly, in his prime, I don't think you can name a fighter that's better than Roy Jones.
No, absolutely. Yeah, he was a top dog in his division during his prime.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit more about that. I mean, not about Roy Jones, more about the knockdown. So he gets up, and obviously you say he clinches, but I remember you guys exchanged. You guys were getting into an exchange, and you heard him again in that same round. You heard him again after the knockdown.
Yeah, no. So as I knocked him down, I went to the neutral corner. I turned around to look at my corner and receive instructions, and they said, do it again. If something works, do it again. So I went out, and then he clinched me, and then we got into a little exchange. I got the better end of it, and I tried to follow up with it, but it was the last seconds of the round, and the bell saved me.
Yes, I clearly remember that, man. Yeah. And then coming out of the fourth round, I felt you had the fight won, especially with that knockdown, securing it. But you kept the pressure on, man. You were fighting like you needed that last round. Was that did you think in your mind, did you have the fight won, and you kind of just wanted to lay off the gas pedal, or were you just like trying to go for the knockout maybe?
Oh, I went back to my corner after that third round, after I knocked him down. My dad, Joey Gilbert, and my coach Marcel, they were all like, at this point you won the fight, be smart what you want to do, have fun out there. But also being the Mexican Independence Eve, I wanted to give the people a show, I wanted to be smart about doing it, but I also wanted to finish the fight in a contending way. Although that didn't happen, I feel like I gave the fans what they were there to see, an exciting fight. And to be honest, a lot of people came up to me at the end of the fight and said that was the fight of the night. They were really happy with my performance.
No, for sure, man. You gave a great performance. I had a great time watching you and cheering you on, and I totally agree. I kept watching that card, and no other fight had as much action as yours did.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and I mean, just the love and support I got from my hometown. Everyone was sending me pictures that they were streaming it on TV, and everyone was cheering and singing and being so happy for me, man. That just motivated me and inspired me 100 times more.
No, for sure. And then, so pretty much after the bell rang, you're standing there with the referee. You were expecting to get your hand raised. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, I did everything I had to do to win that fight. I was the smarter fighter. I scored that third round knockdown, and I was happy with the result.
Yeah, I think you were the smarter fighter, the stronger fighter, and the faster fighter. So, I mean, once you have those three things on your opponent, I think it's kind of hard to,
No, absolutely. And I mean, even the commentator said, well, how do you score a fight? Ring generalship, who controls the fight, who controls the pace. And at the end of the day, it was me who was coming off of doing all of that. And my opponent had just fought recently, 2 months ago, and my last fight was 3 years ago. So, I mean, to come off in that with that performance, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised too. I mean, I'm not doubting your abilities, but I mean, like, you know, the ring rust, like the commentators, I'm pretty sure it was on everybody's mind.
Yeah.
You know, for you to go in the ring 3 years out and just set that pace, it really spoke volumes about you as a fighter.
Thank you.
Yep.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you work hard, there's this quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So, I mean, if you have the talent but you don't work hard, then the person that works hardest is always going to come out victorious.
No, and I believe that 100%, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, closing out, what did you grade yourself?
You know, after being out for 3 years, I give that performance a B minus. You know, I listen to my coaches. There are things where I can improve. You know, boxing, you can always improve. I did get hit a few times where I shouldn't have. But, you know, this Monday I was back in the gym already, you know, trying to perfect those mistakes. I mean, because down the road, if I don't do that, then I'm going to get hurt. So back to the gym and ready for the next one.
No, for sure. And then speaking about back in the gym, I can't wait to see you back in the ring. I hope it's soon, because I feel like you're gonna look even better
Thank you.
next time around. Because I mean, say what we want to say, like, yeah, no ring rust or whatever. But I feel like now going into your next fight, now that you got into the ring, you're just gonna perform even better.
No, absolutely. And, you know, it was just a matter of getting the ball rolling again, and we did that. So, yeah, I can't wait for the next one and to show how much I'm improving.
No, for sure, and we can't wait to see it, man.
Thank
So, what's next? Any talks of a fight, or is it just in the gym?
Yeah, no, yeah. We're in talks right now. Within the next few months, you know, we're at that point where we're the prospect now. So we want to keep the ball rolling, not wait too much. So yeah, stay tuned for more news.
For sure.